This is What School Didn't Teach Me, a podcast meant to build community on all the things school doesn't prepare you for. Hi, I'm your host, Jasmine Ki'Amber, and class is in session. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy 21st birthday, my dear, sweet, beautiful, amazing, talented Jasmine. Happy birthday to you. To you. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Mom.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Mom.
I love you.
I love you too. Got it. Okay.
Thanks, Mom. You're welcome. That was my mama, y'all. And she wasn't guessing it. By the time y'all see this episode, I will be 21, okay? Can you do so for me? And so, yeah, it's my birthday. It's my birthday celebration. And I'd like to share my birthday celebration by giving y'all 21 hard pills, 21 life lessons that I've learned by 21. And let me just say this. Let me start off. You know, I always got to do a lot. My birthday is coming up. As I'm recording, my birthday is coming up. By the time y'all see it, my birthday will be here. And y'all, when I say I have never been so grateful to have a birthday, when I say I've never been so grateful to have a birthday, like, I have been just at random moments thanking God that I am thankful to have this birthday. Like, there have been years where a birthday seems like a hassle. There have been years where I didn't know if I was going to make it to 21. There have been years where I just wanted nothing to do with myself or my birthday. Like, very much giving Job cursing my mother's womb. And so now, even though my life is not perfect, I am not where I want to be. Like, I am not at my highest. I'm not at my peak yet, but I know that I'm on my way there. Like, and so many other things that are going right in my life based on my perspective, because it's all about your perspective. I am so thankful to be celebrating my birthday, to be living the life that I am living. Like, I would not want a life that was not mine. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't always feel like that. So when I say I have been just at random moments thanking God that I even want to be here, that I even want to celebrate a 21st, I am thanking God. And for anybody who was like me, cursing their mama's womb, like, don't even want to deal with life, it gets so much better. It gets so much better. You will learn. You will come out of the dark place. That's it. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to stick around. You just have to stick around to the end of the tunnel. But anyway, yeah, this whole episode is about 21 hard truths, or 21 lessons that I learned at 21. And y'all, when I say first of all, this episode falls perfectly because life and God just works that way. He's a God of details. He just works that way. And when I say, like, I spit these out so quick, because baby, when I say I have lived life, can't nobody tell me about the life that I've lived. Like, you know, you ever grew up and you usually hear it in church, or you hear it from older people, and they be like, you ain't lived no life yet. Like, you ain't lived no life yet. You ain't got no issues. No. I have seen the sunshine. I've seen the rain. I've experienced joy, pain, heartbreak, excitement, peacefulness, bliss, anger, guilt, shame, redemption. You can't tell me about the life that I've lived. You can't tell me about the life that I lived, and you can't say I ain't lived no life, because I have lived life. Okay? So yeah. And for these, I just wanted to share them. I wanted to share them for anybody who may need one. For anybody who may be in the midst of a lesson like I am. For anybody who has learned any type of personal development, who has learned any type of lesson. I want to hear about y'all's lessons too. Like, whether you are 17 or 47, you have lived enough life to know something about something. And I would love to hear the life lessons that y'all also have to share. If there's anything that you feel like, I have that you want to expand on, if there's anything that you feel like you have learned that I maybe didn't say, tap in. I want us to have a whole conversation about it, because life gets so much easier when we start to accept those hard truths. And with that being said, let's get into it. All right. 21 life lessons, 21 hard pills, 21 truths in 21 years. Starting with number 1. You can do anything you are passionate about. Period. You can do anything you are passionate about. I have recently discovered a love and an interest for dancing. I am not a dancer. My literal first thought when I saw people dancing was, man, like, I bet they've been doing this since they were 7 years old. And, that wasn't my ministry. Like, I praise dance. What? Praise God. But I never, I was never in a dance class. No, that's not true. I was in a tap dance class. I was in a tap dance class, but that's not the point. The point is that I stopped, and I'm not a dancer now. And so literally like 12 years out of being a dancer, I'm like, baby, I cannot dance like these people. But why can't I? You know what I mean? You can do anything you are passionate about. The word determined gets thrown around a lot for a lot of people. Like, I grew up with people telling me that I was determined. In reality, I am very headstrong, which is something that, it's a blessing and a curse. It's something that I feel like I've been blessed with. But then it's something that can get in the way at times if I let it, or if I don't know how to put that piece of me away. But I'm the type of person who doesn't think, I think that I can do anything that I want to do. Like, you can't tell me what I can't do, because yes, I can. And it's not like I'm gonna show you I can do it. Da-da-da. No, like, naturally, you can't tell me what I can't do, because yes, I can. And I feel like that applies to everybody. Everybody might not have the same mentality that I do about it. It may take a little bit more work for people to persevere in certain aspects. But if you are passionate about it, if you have a new interest, if you have a new dream, whether that's, being a social media influencer, whether that's taking up a new class, dancing, singing, aerobatics, like, you can do anything you are passionate about, regardless of your ability, because you have to start somewhere, regardless of your age, because you have to start somewhere. You're never too old to start a new craft. Never. If you can sew and knit, you can join a dance class. Like, if you can see it, do it. If you can see it, do it. If you can see it and you see it making you happy, do it. Do it. We spend so much time thinking about what we can't do. We spend so much time thinking about what we can't do, what we don't have time for, what we don't have money for, what we don't have the ability for. You are putting yourself in a box. And that box will suffocate you. You will die in that box. You will die in that box. Step outside the box. Whatever you see for yourself, do it. Do it. And don't take years like I did. Don't take years. If you have an idea, share it. Put it out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to be good the first time. You're not going to be good the first time, period. But do it. Put yourself out there. Number 2, you see we coming in a little hot. Number 2, I have learned that God's way is really the best way. You ever seen VeggieTales and Little Junior was like, God's way is the best way. And that's the way for me. Like, I have learned that he really does all things well. He is a God of details, which means there are no coincidences. You know what? When I started being friends with Felicia, host of the Manusi Involved, I always gotta, put the whole titles out there. When I started being friends with Felicia, I stopped believing in coincidences. Like, our lives aligned so intricately that it was hard, that even in our conversations, it was hard to believe that we were put in each other's lives by chance, or we were talking about the same things by chance. No, I believe that there is no such thing as coincidences. I believe that God is really a God of details, which means that the way that he planned your life was the best way. Like, we get so caught up in our own will, our own wants, our own desires, that we push off, or we put off what God wants for us. Like, my best friend Courtney can really attest to this. I grew up saying, like, I want to be young and turn. Like, I don't want to give my life to Christ so early, because I want to be able to live my life. Like, I was under the assumption that giving my life to Christ and really being serious about my walk meant that I was going to be deprived of what it meant to be a teenager, what it meant to be a young adult. I was going to be deprived of a whole bunch of experiences. And now that I am older, and honestly, I put my will before God's, and I experienced so many things, I realized that I was wrong and he was right. And like, I don't say like, oh, my only regret is that I didn't give my life to Christ sooner. But like, I would have been more intentional. Like, I would not have if I had given my life to Christ or been more serious about my walk sooner, there's so many things that wouldn't have even had my time or attention. I wouldn't have opened my mind and body and soul up to so many other things. I was watching a video. Dog, let me think. Hold on. Oh, I was watching a video of this girl being like, oh, I'm a late bloomer, yada, yada, yada. And another girl responded. It was a TikTok. Another girl responded saying that she mixed up being worldly with like growing up. And I felt the same way. It was like, there seemed to be no other sign of maturity than being worldly. And so while I didn't, in my attempt to step out of childhood and into adulthood, or step out of teenhood and into adulthood, I pushed aside God's will for my life. I pushed aside God's word. Like, I heard him speak to me. I experienced discernment. I experienced conviction. Ignored those things and continued living my life anyway. Yeah, didn't love it. Like, looking back, didn't love it. I don't regret anything, because I feel like every piece of what you do, or every piece of who you are, every piece of your past makes you who you are today. But like, I'm still in therapy for this stuff. Like, you should just skip all those steps and understand that God's way is the best way. He really is. Like, it's not always fun. Yeah, it's not always fun, but it's the best way. Like even now, God I am not perfect. Like, God will be telling me to do something, and I'm over here trying to negotiate with God. Oh, y'all. So I work with kids. Everybody know that I work with kids. And my main argument with them is, why are you trying to negotiate with me? I will try to tell them something, and they will be like, yeah, but this, and oh, what if I just do that, and I'm just trying to this is not a negotiation. Why are you trying to negotiate with me? Stop. Like, that is what gets on my nerves. Negotiation. And it's one thing to say your piece. I will let you say your piece. But for you to be trying to go back and forth with me, it's not going to work out how you think it is. That is exactly what I be trying to do with God. Like, that is exactly what I be trying to do with God. I be trying to negotiate with him. Like, Lord, what if I'm just careful? What if I don't do this? What if I don't do that? Overestimating myself. Is it overestimating? No, yeah. Overestimating myself and my own powers. Underestimating, like, the power that the flesh has. Again, pushing aside God's way and hopping into mine. And now that I have dived more into God's way, like I said, it's not always fun. It is peaceful, though. Like, even in the moments where I don't know what's next, it's still peaceful. God is a God of details. He planned your life accordingly. So just follow his footsteps, okay? Follow his footsteps. Number 3, sometimes you're the problem. I know. Tomato, tomato, tomato. Sometimes you are the problem, but that's okay. Like, we oftentimes, when there's an altercation, when we fall out with people, this, that, and the third, we be like, well, it's them, it's that, it's this, it's that, placing all the blame on them and not piecing our, like, not taking accountability for the part that we played. And, like, you know how they say you are always the villain in somebody else's story? I'm so sure that's true. I don't know whose story I'm the villain in, but I'm sure it's true. You know what I'm saying? And it's because I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm the problem. Sometimes you are the problem. Sometimes we are not. Sometimes we enter into things that we're not mature enough for. Sometimes we say things without just intention. Like, we are not perfect beings, and as we grow, we will slip and fall and make mistakes. Therefore, sometimes you're the problem. Sometimes things step out of your life because you weren't ready for them, and that's okay. Sometimes you pray for things that you think you're ready for, and then you get them and you're not ready for them, and they leave. That's okay. Sometimes you are the lesson in somebody's life. Sometimes you are somebody's reason in their reason, season, in a lifetime. And that's okay. Like, we are humans. We kind of feed and learn off of each other. Literally, tell me what life lesson you had that didn't involve another person. Yeah, so don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Just know it's the truth. Just know you're not perfect and you're not always right. And that's okay. 4. I starred some of my favorites, and this should have been starred because this took me a long time to understand and adapt to. And we're going to get into that after I read it. So number 4, you will never, ever, you will never lose something without gaining something better. Never. Never, ever. Like, never. And let me tell you why this is so hard for me to understand and such a hard concept for me to grasp. It's about to get personal, y'all. I just come on here telling y'all all my business. Like, this is going to be a tight-knit classroom by the time I'm done with it. So I grew up with attachment issues. I don't know if it's attachment or abandonment. I don't know. To me, the symptoms or the signs are like a little too close together. But I grew up with attachment issues, or at least with a deep desire to stay attached to the things that cross my path. And that included like toys, that included people, that included literally anything. That included food. Like, for whatever reason, I just could not let go of things. I mean, not for whatever reason. It's a whole lot of. But I could not let go of certain things. And so when my mom used to tell me, like, you have to let go of the old to make room for the new. And it was like, yeah, girl, I hear you. But, like, what if I need the old? What if I need the old? What if I'm going to use the old? What if I don't want to get rid of all the memories that me and the old have together? Because I don't know what's going on with this new. Like, I don't know them yet. I don't know the new yet. I don't know if this old toy is going, I don't know if this new toy is going to be as fun as my old toy was. Because me and my old toy go way back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to have a really big problem with the exchange of things coming and going. And so when it came down to friendships, as I get older, like, it went from toys to like people and friendships and things like that. It became hard for me to let go of people who no longer served me because we have history. And history meant more to me than what a new person could bring because I didn't know them. Like, I didn't want to have to relearn a new person and rebuild a relationship, yada, yada, yada. Even if, and I think that's because I didn't know if that relationship was going to be better than what already brings me comfort. That's the magic word, comfort. So when I say you will never, ever, 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 ever lose something without gaining something back, I mean it. Like, when you let go of those people who no longer serve you to make room for the people that God is trying to place into your life, the people who like the same things you like and align with the things that you do and follow the same goals and interests you want to follow, who better you, rather than the friends who sit in comfort with you and want to make a difference but don't really want to do the work, but y'all are all doing it together, so it's okay. You will never, ever lose something without gaining something better. And bruh, when I tell you, this used to be bad about like romantic relationships. And that's why I think it's so hard to grasp the concept sometimes. Because when we lose things or when we leave things where they are, we're expecting something right after. Like, if it's not, like, I might as well hold on to this until something new comes. No, because that old thing is still occupying space and you're not even making room for the new thing to bud into your life. And so I think that's why it's so hard to grasp onto the concept, to hold on to the idea, or to let go of the old and accept the new, because we want to hold on to the new. We want to hold on to the old until the new comes. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Trust God. Trust the process. Be patient, because it might be work that you need to do by yourself alone, so that you can make room for the new. You still holding on to this old position, to these old people, to these old problems, and you're not even making room for new blessings, new jobs, new friends. I'm not saying quit your job, but I'm just saying, like, you got to let go of the old to bring in the new. You'll never, and your new, especially if you do the work, the self work, your new will always be better than your old. Don't go back to comfort. Even if it's a new person in the same type of comfort, don't go back to comfort. Open yourself to something new, brand spanking new. And it's scary. It's nerve-wracking, it's hard, it's new, but it's for your betterment. It's for your good. I don't know if I need to let y'all know this, but based on the way we're going, this is going to be a long episode. A cute little hour special. So number 4, To trust God means to go with the flow. I hope I'm saying the saying right, but it's like God either gives you the destination, or he either gives you a look at the destination or the journey, but never both. Boy, I don't know what God is doing. I don't know what God is doing. I don't know where God is supposed to, like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be, how I fit into his plan, but I know that he has a plan for me. And that alone, the ability to trust him and know that he does things with detail, and know that, like Philippians 4:6. Okay, y'all, I hate to misquote scripture. I meant Philippians 1:6. Okay. Philippians 4:6 says, he that has begun a great work in you is faithful to perform it unto the day of Christ Jesus. Which means that if the Lord gave you a vision, and I'm talking about from the Lord, if the Lord gave you a vision and you let him, you got to open up your heart. You got to open up your heart and let him lead the way. If you let him lead the way, if you trust him, he is going to make sure that that vision gets seen, gets fulfilled. Like, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. You wonder how we get celebrities, how we get people who have made a difference. Martin Luther King, Shirley Chisholm, Malcolm X. Like, you wonder how we get people who have large positive influence. It's because God had a hand on their life. God had a hand on their life, and they let God rule. I'm not saying every famous person is like believes in God or is a part of God's plan as they should be, or using their platform for God's plan. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if there's a level that you want to reach, trust God to bring you to that level. And to trust God means to go with the flow. It means that there will be times where you have no idea what he's doing, where you're going to get the resources from, how you're going to get from point A to point B. Like, he may not give you all those details, but if he gave you a destination, just know that you will get there. And yeah, that was hard for me because I'm a planner. Like, I am a very, what are we doing? Like, you know, at this age, I'll graduate. At this age, I'll go to grad school. At this age, I'll get married. I'll do this. I'll do that. Like, I was a planner. There was a certain way that my life was supposed to look. And my life just looks different. I have new interests. I have new desires. And I allowed myself to make space for those things. Which means that there are moments where I feel like I am in limbo. There are moments where I'm like, okay, God, what's next? Like, what's next? And at the same time, there are moments where I realize that there is no right or wrong in some things. Like, right and wrong exists, of course. Like, ethics, morality, all that stuff, it exists. But I used to be hyper focused on some of my decisions. And, like, I don't have to hyper focus on those things anymore. Because in some cases, God is trusting you to choose. It's not a right and wrong. It's just God trusting you to choose. So yeah, to trust God is to go with the flow. Ooh, number 6. Number six is one of my favorites. I'm getting hungry. I don't appreciate that. Number 6 is one of my favorites. Put yourself out there. Let me repeat. If I could put this mic down and clap, I would. Put yourself out there. Period. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. When I say that, dang, what was I about to say? When I say that I had this dream for this podcast in 2020, and I sat on it until 2023, put yourself out there. Stop being scary. What you being scary for? Stop being scary. Who cares if they reject you? Who cares if they don't like it? Who cares if it's not perfect the first time? Put yourself out there. Some stuff you just got to be able to be like, whoop, I did it. I tried. Who cares? Put yourself out there. If there's something that you want to do it. Like, there's literally nothing stopping you but yourself. Stop making excuses, talking about what you don't have. You don't have time. You don't have resources. Nobody cares. I mean, not like that. But, like, put yourself out there. Like, stop making excuses for yourself. The more excuses you make for yourself, the longer that you will put off your dream. And let me tell you, I know people who had a dream and let themselves get in the way. And now they wish they would have. They wish they would have. They wish they had the time. They wish they had all the resources. And like I said, like, you're never too old to start the things that you want to start. But why live your life in regret in the first place? Like, get ahead of that and put yourself out there. Okay, hold on. Let me read the rest of my notes. Put yourself out there. Try new things at any time. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter how scary you are. Like, it does matter how scary you are, because stop being scary. But, like, don't be fearful. Hone your craft and be bold about your vision and your talents. Outside of the podcast, I can sing. My family sings. We sing all the time. Every time we get together, we sing. Whether we sing for fun, whether we sing for my people's church, we sing. So I can sing. And at a very young age, I stunted my growth because I was scared of my own voice. Like, I literally remember being in the car with my mom and being like, why do I have a grown woman's voice? Like, I was like 7, and I'm like, my voice sounds like I'm 20. Why do I have a grown woman's voice? And I was fearful because having a strong voice meant being loud and being, like, in the front, and it meant being different. And I felt like I was already different enough, you know. I didn't want to take up any more space than I needed to take up. So I stopped singing. I stopped singing. And recently, like, within the past couple of years, like, probably since I got to school, I have had the burning desire to sing more, to put my voice out there, to sing more, to hone my craft, just to, yeah. Like, when I got to school, I dipped into, well, not dipped into, because I was doing speeches all my life, but I was more intentional about, like, doing poetry, doing spoken word. But I wanted people to know that I could sing, but I was too scared. First of all, I already had multiple ideas that I was sitting on at that age. Some came into fruition, some did not. And I was going through my messages. Like, I was going through my messages on GroupMe, deleting things, really deleting things from school because I'm entering another chapter into my life. And I looked, and someone had asked me to sing at their event. And I literally was reading the messages, and I could see the fear. Like, as I was reading it, I remembered this event, and I remembered how I felt about it. Honored that she wanted me to sing, but terrified to put myself up there on stage, to the point where I literally backed out. And I probably backed out the day of. And it's crazy how you will be your own, like, you'll be your own downfall. You'll be your own worst enemy. And I always say, like, if I could go back to school, or if I could do all over again, yes, I would have still done mock trial because I was part of the mock trial program. But I would have put myself out there more in the arts. Because I feel like if you're in school, you need to go to school, like, and do the things you like to do. Like, major in what you want to major in, the thing that you will actually be proud learning and enjoy learning, And then dabble in the clubs and in the organizations. Get with the people that support the things that you support, that dip into the things that you dip into. Like, my school was really good about giving people the space to make movies, to act, to direct, to produce, to sing, to rap. Like, they made the space for those people. Like, that was one of the first things I learned when I got to Dillard University. Okay, shout out. Okay. And had I not been my own worst enemy, had I not been afraid to put myself out there, I would be singing on the tracks right now. So yeah, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, you will thank yourself for it. And I hate to say this because it's not often that it's received like this, but even if people don't receive you well the first time, which honestly rarely happens, like, we are our own worst critics, and there are times where you will put things out there and people will be like, wow, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before. Give yourself that opportunity. Do not cheat yourself. Put yourself out there. Like, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Give yourself the space and the time to start and to progress, because you have to start somewhere and you have to grow. Like, you'll never grow if you don't start. So yeah, I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to break these up into 2 episodes. So I'll probably go up to number 10 or 11, and then the rest will be an episode for next week. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so scared of an hour-long episode. Like, I literally said that in the beginning, that this is gonna be long. And I'm looking at the time and I'm like, I don't know. Somebody pray for me. I'm being scary. Look at that. Not putting myself out there. Or I guess, well, what does that apply to? Yeah, not putting myself out there. Stop being scary. Number 7. You will never, ever be alone. Even if you feel alone, you are never alone. Because not only do you have a million people around you who are going through the same things that you are going through. Who are going through the same things that you are going through. You have God. Like, you have God. And God sees every tear. He sees every sigh. He sees every moment of frustration. He sees you when you are fighting temptation. He sees you when you are being the bigger person. He sees you when you're feeling like there is nowhere to go. He's always there. He's always there. And at your darkest moments, that's not when he shows up necessarily, but that's when you can really, really feel him. That's when he really, really makes his presence known. Like, when you think nobody's watching, in your darkest moments, you ready to give in, throw in the towel, all this other stuff, you are never alone. Because God is there and he is with you. In addition to, though, that's the whole reason, like, the whole purpose of what school didn't teach me is to identify and pinpoint points. It's to identify points where people could feel alone in the conversation. And I just want to let you know that you're not. Like, you're not alone. You're never alone. If I haven't been through it, then your neighbor has been through it. Like, there are always people around you who can support you, who want to support you, who are there so that you do not feel alone. You have to utilize those people. That was my issue. Like, that was my issue. And if you have an issue with isolation, like, if that is your, is it the toxic trait or is it the self-destruction language? They say, like, the way that you self-destruct or the way that you act when you are not in a good mood is the direct opposite of your love language. So if your love language is quality time, then you isolate, stuff like that. If you are someone who isolates, then this is really for you, Because a lot of times we isolate because we think nobody will understand, because we feel alone, because we feel like we don't want to burden people with our problems. But that is the exact opposite of why people are placed into your life in the first place. Literally, people are placed into our lives for those low moments. If they cannot handle you at your low, then they don't deserve you at your best. That's just that. You are never alone. You just have to utilize the people who are around you. And it's hard. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to open up. When I promise you, I say that things are for the betterment, like for your betterment, for your good, I mean it. I mean it. LOL. Why did I skip? I wholeheartedly skipped number 8. I skipped number 8. That was number 7. I skipped number 8 on my list. But number 8, it's number 9 on my list. But number 8, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, okay, baby? And I don't mean like buy new shoes, new chains, new grills, new clothes. I mean, you could do that. But I mean like invest in your purpose. Like, I don't know how much money it is to get a nonprofit. Is it a 501? I got to do my research. I don't know how much money it is. Collect it. Scrounge it up. Your label, your name, your trademark. Like, your label, your name, trademark it. Invest in yourself. You want to learn something new? Buy the stuff. You want to learn how to crochet? Go get the yarn. Go get the needles. Michael's is up the street. Well, actually, no. It's actually kind of far. But Michael's is up the street. Joann's is nearby. Hobby Lobby is everywhere. Invest in yourself. Like, don't give yourself the excuse, because we are never meant to stay the same. I mentioned in an episode, I think in last season, where I was saying that like self-care has just looked different for me as I'm growing up. And so while self-care used to look like face mask and this and that, now for me, self-care looks like something that looks like partaking in an activity that I will really enjoy. And I like to move my body more. I like to stimulate my mind more. Like, self-care isn't always, for me, just straight relaxation. I find myself relaxing while I read a book that stimulates my mind, while I learn a new dance, while I, do something with my hands. Like, and you just have to invest in yourself. I find that when I spend money on stuff, it like guarantees me to use them. Like when I said I was going to start the podcast, I was like, okay, boom, starting the podcast. Now I got to buy a microphone. When I bought that microphone, and my microphone wasn't even expensive, but it's really good quality. Amen. But no free promos. Okay. They can add me. They can give me some money, and then we'll talk about them. But my microphone is really good, and I invested. But this microphone was an investment in myself. It was an investment in my podcast. And I knew that if I was going to spend money on it, baby, I better use it. Like, I better use it. I don't believe in wasting my money like that. Yeah. So invest in yourself. Like, invest time into yourself. Invest money into yourself. Believe in yourself. Like, don't say, oh, I don't need this because I always pick stuff up and put it down. Who cares? Who cares? You are going to have a life full of testimonies and dreams and visions and ideas and crafts because you always pick stuff up. You're always picking up a new thing. Stop looking at it as a bad thing. And the sooner you start, the sooner you progress. So again, whatever you invest in may not be good the first time, but start. Okay, number 9. This should have been starred. You don't give yourself enough credit. Period. This was hard because I am Miss Do It All. I'm trying to do it all. I'm the vice president of this club. I'm on the executive board of this club. I'm trying to start this. I'm trying to do my work. I'm trying to dabble in this. I'm trying to make sure I'm pushing podcasts out. I'm trying to absorb my social life. But when do I stop and thank myself? When do I stop and give myself grace? When do I stop? You don't give yourself enough credit for the things that you do. The way that you keep your house together, the way that you are on top of your schoolwork, the way that you uplift the people around you, the way that you show up for yourself or have been in the last week. Give yourself some credit. We are our own biggest and worst critics, for real. And I know that's because like we see ourselves in a way that nobody else sees us. Like we see our own flaws. We see our own faults. We see our guilt. We see the things that we are ashamed about. I get it. I really do. But give yourself some more credit. Give yourself some more grace. Like I have a friend and we talk about Grace all the time. And she'll be like, Grace, I never knew her. And we'll laugh about it. But it's like, it's a serious thing. You have to give yourself credit or you're going to burn out. Like you have to learn when to stop and tell yourself thank you. Because if you're always hard on yourself, when are you ever going to notice your progress? You're never going to be proud until you make it to the top. And then once you make it to the top, it's still going to be something wrong. So stop right now and give yourself credit. I think it would be beneficial if more people had a gratitude journal. Like stopping, giving yourself moments of gratitude, things that you're thankful for, things that you acknowledge about yourself, stopping and hugging yourself. I watched a video of this influencer and he was driving and he literally stopped and he gave himself a hug. And I don't mean just, no, I mean like buried deep in his own arms, and it was the most beautiful thing. And in his caption, in one of his captions, he was saying that he does this and he gives himself a hug for his inner child because he knows that his inner child is proud. Like you got to start thinking about little you. You got to start giving yourself credit because little you never got that. You got to start feeding yourself the things that little you never got. So stop, take a pause, maybe write down 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that you admire about yourself, 3 things that are different this year than last year. I might have to post a journal prompt because, yeah, I haven't posted a journal prompt since this season started. And I really feel like we should be prompting more gratitude, like squeezing more gratitude out of ourselves. It's important. Okay, we'll do number 10 and then we'll stop. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. We'll do number 10 and then we'll stop for the day. So number 10. And this one is starred. This one is starred because this one hard for me. Hard for me even now. And we're going to talk about it in a minute. Y'all, why my camera turned off? Okay, last one. And this one was starred because I had a lot of trouble with it. And yeah, I feel like it's what the people need. This is one of my favorites. So number 10. And let me make sure y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Ask for what you need. Hold on. Just in case you didn't hear me again. Number 10. Ask for what you need. Like, don't be afraid. Don't feel like you're a bother. Ask for what you need. If you need help, if you need support, if you need money, ask. Ask for what you need. There are people in your life who are made to support you. And y'all, when I say that, you'll be surprised like who comes out of the woodworks to support you. It's crazy, but that's a different point. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. You are not a bother. You are not a bother. Be candid. Be open about what you need. When you are open about what you need, you give people the opportunity to be there for you. And a lot of times we get tense because we feel like, or we start to separate ourselves from people because we feel like people don't understand us, people don't know how to be there for us. We have to articulate what we need from people. And a lot of times the people who are in our lives want to know what's going on. They want to support us, they want to help us, but we need to ask for what we need, whether that be reassurance, whether that be more support. If you need tutoring, if you got somebody you want to be your mentor, if there's an adult around you that you just really, really look up to, you really, really admire, speak to them. Tell them what you need. And let people tell you if they have the capacity for what you need or not. A lot of times we are like, okay, I don't want to be a bother. This person probably already has so much on their plate. Let them tell you that. Don't be so scared of rejection that you reject yourself. Because if you do that, you don't give people a chance to be there for you. Ask for what you need. Openly, candidly. Because a lot of times we know what we need. We literally know step by step what we need. I need you to do this, you to do this, you to do this. Ask for what you need. Because if you're the type of person who's scared to ask for what they need, you're probably the type of person who is always there for other people. You're compensating. And then, we just hope that people will be there for us like we are there for them. Well, they can be if you let them in on what you need. A lot of times people don't even know when you're suffering or when you need help because you don't say anything. You're having trouble in your classes? Ask somebody to help you. Ask somebody to tutor you, to help you with your homework. Ask somebody to do homework together. Like, you have a new platform that you're putting out, but you're a little nervous about it. Ask for support. Ask for encouragement. Ask for recommendations. Reach out to people who are doing the same things that you're doing. Reach out. Reach out. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Okay, y'all. I have 11 more, but I'll save those for the next episode because the way that I'm looking at the time, it's already been going on an hour, and that's fine. But I'll save that for the next episode. So next week, we'll be continuing our conversation on 21 lessons. 21 lessons at 21. And I have a new segment that I'd like to do. And I have a new segment that I would like to introduce next week. But again, that's next week. I think this week we're going to have to do a journal prompt because I want y'all to sit on what I'm saying. I want y'all to act on what I'm saying. I want y'all to be drinking these life lessons. Like, hear what I'm saying. Like, give yourself more credit. Put yourself out there. Hone your craft. So I think it's time for a journal prompt. Yeah. We haven't seen one since the season started, and I think that now we're overdue. Like, now is the perfect time. But yeah, thank y'all. Thank y'all for supporting me as I put myself out there, as everything isn't perfect, as I hone my craft and develop my interest, and yeah, for supporting me the way that y'all have. Y'all have heard my cry for support, and y'all have shown up. Thank you. And y'all wish me happy birthday because I'm 21. Yeah. We'll continue the conversation next week. Love you. Bye.